Hey, good evening, folks. Welcome to another live edition of Pro Wrestling Talk here on the U to the Tube, brought to you by Blitzball Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. I just had to get on here and talk about a couple of things. Going hot right about now. WWE putting in some work, seeing some familiar faces return to the WWE with potentially more on the way. Talk a little bit about last week's Smackdown that I attended live. It was in my hometown, Raleigh, North Carolina, at the PNC Arena. NXT UK has invaded NXT 2.0. And lately we've been seeing a lot of NXT UK talent, not only just appearing on NXT 2.0, but also wrestling as well. So we'll talk about that. Also, Konosuke Takeshita has safely arrived back in Japan, but word is that he is interested in looking at returning to compete in the US some more in October. And who knows, with as much as he's wrestled on AEW and being that, he's part of DDT, could he be getting the same treatment as Yuka Sakazaki, who is an official member of the AEW roster as well as Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling? So got a lot of stuff. And it's also looking like Worlds Collide might be returning in some form of fashion, especially with all this UK talent invading NXT 2.0. Triple H, WWE making some moves. It's kind of got me a little bit intrigued. But first off, want to talk a little bit about my recent experience at last week's Smackdown. Like I said, I got a chance to go. It was me and my nephew. I wasn't originally planning on it, but this was actually, kind of not so much a last minute. Well, actually, yeah, it kind of was last minute. But, it was actually really good. It was good. I was just really bummed that all of the merchandise stands were packed. Like the lines, I think there were about 3 or 4 merch stands at the PNC Arena, and they were all packed. Because I really wanted to get my nephew a t-shirt, but they were so packed. And we would have missed a lot of the action if we would have stayed in line. Even if we would have gotten there, which we pretty much got there right before the doors opened. So that was a bummer, but we still had fun. We had our snacks and such. We still had fun, and we had really great seats as well. Lower level, almost not that far from floor level. So we really had good close seats. But they ran a dark match. They ran a dark match between Drew Gulak and Butch, which that was pretty interesting. It's been forever since I've seen Drew Gulak wrestle, and it was actually a decent match. Even though he lost, it was a decent match, and it was just good to see Drew Gulak, who's pretty much a fan favorite now. But yeah, he had a dark match with Butch, and Butch actually did double duty that night because not only was he there, well, no, not technically double duty, but he had an appearance in the corner of the Brawling Brutes, and he also wrestled because they did another match off camera, another dark match, which was the Street Profits versus the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus and Ridge Holland, and Butch was there for that. So yeah. I tell you what, though, Pat McAfee's new theme, definitely love his new theme. The same theme that he debuted at SummerSlam, definitely loving that theme. Hey, John Elite 45 for life. Welcome to the stream. I hope we get the old NXT Pete Dunne back. Oh, dude, I would love for the Bruiserweight to come back. Absolutely. That whole Butch character, hate it. Really, really hate it. I would love to see the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne return. So I'm in agreement with you on there. But yeah, they definitely showed they did another women's tag team tournament match. Of course, it was Shotzi and Raquel, or no, excuse me, Shotzi and Xia Li versus Raquel and Aaliyah. And I do hope that Shotzi is okay. From the angle that I saw, it looked like she got a really bad cut, either across her face or across her neck. But I remember after the match, the trainer was over there, her and Xia, and she had a big towel like on the side of her face. And yeah, it looked like she had a nasty cut. So hopefully Shotzi's okay. John Elite says Butch is like a kid with a temper tantrum. Pretty much. I mean, with his mannerisms and how the character is being portrayed, you're spot on. You're definitely spot on. But it was a decently long match, to be honest. Like, it was really good to see Shotzi and Xia Li showcase. They tried to pull off the Thunder Express move, which the Motor City Machine Guns use, which it was kind of a botch, but I like the idea. But I just don't know how I feel about the team of Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. That's kind of a weird tag team. Definitely doesn't compare to her and Dakota Kai, but they got it. They, at the end of the day, some of those teams put together were pretty random. So, I mean, if we got to keep it real. Hit Row, Ashanti D Adonis, Top Dollar, B-Fab have returned. That I heard rumors, and I got to give a shout out to a friend of mine / subscriber, Panther Zero. Some of y'all remember him as Retribution Zero. We were talking on PSN chat. He called it. He called it. I got to give him credit. He called it. But Hit Row showed up, and not only showed up on SmackDown, they had a match. They had a tag team match. I just thought it was really interesting. Like, there was no build up or anything. Just bam. Hit Row's graphic plays, their music plays. They're out there, and they have a match. It wasn't just a promo. It wasn't just a random promo or anything like that. They came out, had a match, did their post-match promo. Hey, I dig it. John says, I'm glad that Hit Row is back. It just isn't the same without Swerve. I heard the reports on Adonis and Top Dollar, but not B-Fab. Like, I think they'll be okay without Swerve. I think they'll be okay for the most part. I feel like B-Fab should, be the main manager, because honestly, I didn't think she was that good in the ring. I know she didn't have a lot of matches, but I don't think she's that good in the ring. But I mean, if she gets more training and whatnot, I mean, they're not really going to go back to NXT, I don't think. But if she can get some training, maybe work some dark matches or whatnot along the way, maybe she'll eventually get good. But I didn't think B-Fab was good in the ring. So she might just be, full-time manager, which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But Hit Row is back. And hey, that's another entry into the tag team division. So hey, kudos on Triple H for bringing them back. I think that's cool. I think that's definitely cool. especially with how they were let go previously after just getting to the main roster. So definitely a good move bringing back Hit Row. Definitely a good move. So I gotta keep it real with y'all. I gotta keep it real. The Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan segment, like, Liv Morgan as champion, don't get me wrong, I like her, but the way they're booking her, Liv Morgan as SmackDown Women's Champion is just not believable. It's just not believable. I mean, she didn't even beat Ronda Rousey clean. And, how is she even going to beat Shayna Baszler clean? And, I know that she kind of had a momentum shift after, putting Shayna through a table, even though Shayna jacked up her arm. But I'm just not convinced that Liv is a believable champion. John Elite says they didn't even last a month in their first run on the main roster. Facts. Talking about Hit Row? Yeah, facts. I agree with you. But I don't know, y'all. How do y'all honestly feel about Liv Morgan as SmackDown Women's Champion? Like, I understand, the underdog champion, the Cinderella story champion, and whatnot. It's just, I would find it a lot more believable if she legit won the title. Like, if she legit beat Becky Lynch for the title, then it would make a lot more sense. Because it's like I said, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Winning a championship via a Money in the Bank cash-in is not really that good. It's not good. It's the cheapest way for anybody to win a title. Because, you think about it, look at Nikki ASH. She didn't have a good title run. And how did she win the Raw Women's title? Cash in. It's just, Carmella. One, they had to redo hers because of James Ellsworth. But, and then when she did the cash in, it was bad enough with her when she had the match getting the briefcase. So, I don't know. John Elite says, I can't take Liv as champ seriously if she just squeaks by like at SummerSlam. Facts. She couldn't beat Ronda clean. She just happened to have her shoulders pinned, but in the midst of it, she tapped out. It was just that the ref didn't see the tap out because he was too busy making the 3 count. And it's like now, she's the champion and she has the arm brace on, and, Ronda Rousey has targeted that arm. Shayna Baszler has targeted that arm. She even stomped on it, but yet somehow was able to bulldog Shayna through the table after the contract signing. So, I don't know, y'all. I like Liv, but right now she's just not believable as a singles champion. She's not believable. They were legit cheering. I even heard cheers on SmackDown for Ronda Rousey when she came out, made her appearance and everything. It's like the fans have already pretty much kind of sort of turned on Liv. And it doesn't really surprise me because Liv's just not believable as a champion. you know, I hate to say that, but she's just not believable as a champion, a singles champion. I mean, maybe it would have been different if she was built up to it, like maybe had a championship in NXT or had the tag titles first and then eventually became a singles champion. But I mean, like I said, she won the title through a Money in the Bank cash in after a match, after a title match. So, I mean, which typically a lot of Money in the Bank winners do. So that's why I'll never be a fan of the Money in the Bank concept. I will never be a fan. And I wish it would retire. I really do. I will say though that the Usos, Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss. Madcap wasn't who I was expecting or whatnot, but I mean it makes sense. It makes sense. But that was actually a pretty good match. That was a pretty good match. The matches on SmackDown were actually pretty good. I definitely enjoyed the Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther and Shinsuke Nakamura. And I really like what WWE has been doing lately, how they've been showcasing the mid-card titles. I mean, they did it with the United States Championship and had one heck of a title match between Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles, which I believe that was their first time facing each other in a singles match, if I remember correctly. So there's that. But I like how they've been taking segments to review the prestige and some of the history behind these mid-card championships. They did it with the Intercontinental title. They did it with the United States title. So really like that they've been doing that and hope they continue to do that. I mean, heck, Gunther versus Shinsuke for the IC title was the main event of SmackDown. That was the main event. So, hey, I love it. John Elite says they also acknowledged that on commentary Monday. Yep, they sure did. They sure did. So it's good. And I have no problem with mid-card championship matches being the main event. I have no problem with that at all. I mean, we gotta get variety in the main events. And we're starting to see that. We're definitely starting to see that. So I hope that really continues. Let's get a US championship main event sometime. Let's get a tag team title match as the main event sometime. Mix it up. Mix it up. It's okay to mix it up. So I really hope that they'll continue to do that on each brand, SmackDown, Raw, NXT 2.0, NXT UK, do it on each brand. Let's get some variety. I love it. Definitely love it. But yeah, definitely enjoyed SmackDown Live. That was my second SmackDown I've ever attended. The first SmackDown I ever attended live was when they had the Iron Man match for the main event. It was Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle, which, Brock Lesnar pretty much won convincingly. But still, 60-minute Iron Man match. It was very entertaining. But yeah, I enjoyed SmackDown. Definitely enjoyed SmackDown. I do feel for Kofi, though. I feel for the New Day pretty much winning alone, kendo stick and all, which I don't understand how he was going to win that exchange with the Viking Raiders when they are fully armored and they both have shields. So, but I guess they had to make it seem like Kofi had a little bit of momentum and then eventually got leveled by the Viking Raiders. But you know what? At least it's good to see the Viking Raiders pretty much get treated like they were War Machine back in ROH with, how they are. I mean, they should be a beast of a team and they should be booked as a beast of a tag team because that's what they are. So, them being heels, I'm perfectly fine with it. I mean, they had the jokester stuff with the Street Profits when they were faces, but honestly, I think the Viking Raiders as heels really showcases them a lot better. So, definitely like what they're doing with the Viking Raiders. Although they will always, be War Machine to me in my heart. But anything is better than the Viking experience, that's for sure. but yeah, SmackDown was pretty enjoyable. I'm definitely looking forward to the next round of the women's tag team championship tournament. We know that Io Shirai and Dakota Kai have advanced. We know that Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah have advanced. And just recently, Alexa Bliss and Asuka have advanced. And I got to give credit to Asuka. They had her tap out Doudrop in kind of a wrenching armbar, which I thought that looked pretty painful too. So, got to give credit there. I don't think I've ever seen Doudrop tap out, or at least not in a while. So there's that. But the next round, we're going to see Alexa Bliss, Asuka versus Io Shirai and Dakota Kai. That should be a lot of fun. And for the record, Asuka and Io Shirai have faced each other before back in Japan. And you also have to remember, the both of those ladies were 2/3 of the stable Triple Tails. Triple Tails, which was Asuka, Kana, Io Shirai, and her sister Mio Shirai, who is a retired wrestler, but now is a referee. But yeah, they were part of the stable Triple Tails. So Asuka and Io have a lot of history. So I hope they get showcased really well, but I am looking forward to another singles match, this time in the WWE, between Asuka and Io Shirai. And the only other interesting thing is, I guess Bayley is not going to have her first match until Clash at the Castle. So I guess she's not going to have a singles match or a squash match or anything on Raw. It's kind of a bummer, but I mean, hey, I guess that gives her plenty of time to prepare for Clash at the Castle. So hey, it'll be good. That should be a good trios match. Should be really good. They've been really connecting Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss together. So hey, and oh man, we had a beast of a match between Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, although it did end in a disqualification, which is such a bummer. I really hate, that's like one of the few things that I hate. Great matches like that end in a DQ. It's so annoying. It's just really, really annoying. And they tore the house down. Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, that match was fire, but it was really, really bad that it ended in a DQ. Like, whether it was a storyline thing or not, DQ finishes are never good. DQ finishes are never good. Veer Mahan was back, which felt like it had been a while. Definitely has been a while. We had a banger of a match between AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship. That was really good. That went back and forth. Dexter Lumis tried to crash the party, of course. John Elite says the promo between KO and Drew was also good. Oh, absolutely. Their pre-match promo. Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely agree. But yeah, the United States Championship match was really good. Really could have gone either way. Dakota Kai beat Dana Brooke. Word is that the 24/7 title might be getting canned / retired. And I hope it does, because that title is trash. So hopefully that gets canned. And then they had Theory and Dolph Ziggler in the main event, which, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that the first singles win that Theory has had since winning the Money in the Bank? I think that is. And if that's the case, then that is sad. I'm sorry, but just, I like Theory, but there is no way he should have been losing as much as he had been losing after winning the Money in the Bank. Like, he's the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, and he's lost so much since acquiring that Money in the Bank briefcase. Oh, John Elite, thank you for the confirmation. First win for Theory since having the briefcase. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's sad. That is sad. Like, this is your Money in the Bank briefcase winner who was inserted. Let's keep in mind, was inserted into the match randomly at last minute after losing the United States Championship rematch, and yet ended up winning Money in the Bank. And you wonder why I don't like Money in the Bank. And this dude finally gets a victory since winning the Money in the Bank. That should tell y'all something about the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm just saying. John Lee says, I legit thought Dakota was challenging for the 24/7 title. Thank God the title wasn't on the line. Oh, man, that would have been embarrassing. That would have been really embarrassing. But I do hope that that title gets retired ASAP. So I gotta talk about Heatwave, NXT Heatwave that just took place. So quite interesting turn of events, as NXT UK has pretty much invaded NXT 2.0. Because you got to think about it. We've had A-Kid, who got rebranded to Axiom, the mathematical luchador, who was from NXT UK. You have Pretty Deadly, who was from NXT UK. Briggs and Jensen are the current NXT UK tag team champs. And, you know, their main home base is NXT 2.0. You got JD McDonough. Oh, I'm sorry, Jordan Devlin, because that other name sucks. You got Jordan Devlin now in NXT 2.0. You have, let's see. I know there's more. Oh, and then you have to think a couple of new faces have arrived. Gallus showed up and took out Diamond Mine during their in-ring promo. The Coffee brothers, Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, who's the current NXT UK Heritage Cup champion, and Wolfgang. You have Gallus in NXT 2.0. It's a big deal. It's another stable. And not only that, you got B. Presley, aka Blair Davenport, who has her eye on the NXT Women's Championship. Showed up in the backstage segment with Indy Hartwell, tearing up what believes to be a supposed love letter from Dexter Lumis, which looks like they may be reuniting Index. And then the big spoiler. Oh, and yes, legit spoiler. After Bron Breakker retained the title over Jordan Devlin, a nice hard-fought match. Both look good. Out comes Tyler Bate. And not only does Tyler Bate show up after the match for an in-ring face-off with Bron Breakker, but Tyler Bate is holding the NXT United Kingdom Championship, which is a dead giveaway that Tyler Bate won the NXT United Kingdom Championship tournament. They haven't even finished broadcasting it on Peacock, and they just spoiled that. Pretty much they just spoiled it on NXT 2.0 via Heatwave tonight. I figured that the NXT UK shows weren't live, but dang, that's quite a spoiler. That's a big spoiler. And then just have him come out on Heatwave and he's holding the title? Ugh. That's kind of a bad error. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nothing against Tyler Bate. I love Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate's one of the best. But that's a pretty big spoiler. So, bad form, as Captain Hook would say. John Elite says, big spoiler. Yeah, big spoiler. Indeed. So that also means that Tyler Bate makes history and becomes the first ever two-time NXT United Kingdom champion. Because remember, he was the inaugural champion when he won. And that's so funny. That is so funny because he won the title the first time winning the inaugural tournament. And then turns around and he wins this tournament after Ilya Dragunov unfortunately had to relinquish the title due to injury that he sustained when he went up against Wolfgang. Crazy the turn of events there. And now it looks like it's safe to say that Worlds Collide is returning in some form of fashion. But I am also hearing word that could NXT UK be coming to an end? Could it actually be coming to an end? And this just could be a way that they just bolster the NXT brand by having everybody on 2.0. Maybe. John Elite says, I feel bad for Dragunov. Yeah, because Dragunov was a strong champion. He was a very strong champion. I mean, he dethroned Gunther. So, but yeah, hopefully he returns. But wow, like, I got a feeling that maybe, just maybe, could they possibly be moving everybody to NXT 2.0 and it just be a big brand, kind of similar to Smackdown and Raw? I think that's a possibility, y'all. I think that's a possibility. Because That's a lot of UK talent coming to NXT 2.0 in the span of like what? A month? 2 months? That's a lot. So I'm not sure what they're planning, but things are getting really interesting on each of the brands since Triple H is now taken over. So, hey, I'm all for it. So there weren't any title changes tonight. There weren't any title changes. Santos Escobar lost the street fight to Tony D'Angelo, which means he is banned from NXT, which pretty sure that means he's about to get called up to the main roster. If you ask me, I think he's going to go to SmackDown. I could see him either feuding with Ricochet, or they might pair him with Los Lotharios, or have some sort of engagement with Los Lotharios. But I wouldn't mind seeing Santos feud with Ricochet. I think that'd be a nice feud. But I think Santos Escobar will come to SmackDown. I think he'll come to SmackDown. But we'll see. But I think it's safe to say he's definitely getting the call up. Zoe Stark looked really strong in her match against Mandy Rose. It's a bummer she didn't win, but she looked really strong. But I'm going to tell you right now, if B. Priestley gets her shot at Mandy and loses, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be so mad. Because, y'all can say what you want. Mandy Rose has no business beating B. Priestley, a.k.a. Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport and Mandy Rose are on two different levels. There is no comparison when it comes to in-ring ability. Yeah, Mandy Rose might have the looks advantage, but Blair Davenport, Mandy Rose, there's no comparison. As far as in-ring ability, there's no comparison. John Elite says, I'd love to see Rey and Santos in a match if he goes to Raw. Ooh, that would be really good, too. That would be really good. Hey, I'm not against that. Shoot. I remember Rey Mysterio had one heck of a match against Grand Metalik. And I know he's had some history with Sin Cara when he was still here. So hey, I'd be down. I'd totally be down. But yeah, if Blair Davenport's next in line to challenge Mandy Rose, that's most likely got to be who dethrones Mandy Rose. Like if Mandy Rose beats her, I riot, because it makes no sense. I mean, Zoe Stark was already hard enough, especially with the momentum Zoe Stark had going into that match. But if she turns around and dethrones Blair Davenport, that'll be the biggest amount of garbage ever, because she has no business beating her. I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep it real. But I like what they're doing with Cora Jade versus Roxy. Cora Jade, was able to get the victory. She has the advantage now. I mean, that's a feud that's going to last a while. That feud's going to last a while. So I like what they're doing there. But one thing that I still wonder about, so is Saray not going to get her NXT UK Women's Championship match? Is that just not going to happen now against Meiko Satomura? They got to have that match still. Like, they've advertised it. They had a segment about it. I hope they still have that match, because if not, I'm going to be upset. I'm gonna be upset. Two Joshi legends going at it. Like they need to have that. They really do. They need to have that match, especially with how it got advertised. They need to have that match. So, but yeah, Heatwave, NXT UK takeover, or NXT UK invasion. So, like I said, it makes me think about what all could happen with NXT UK. Could it be coming to an end? Could they be just migrating folks to NXT 2.0? Maybe is that brand turning into a bigger brand? I mean, because you have to remember they have NXT Level Up, which showcases more of the rookies and young talent, which they have on Peacock, I believe, separately. But they could be turning WWE NXT 2.0 into its own big brand, just as big as Raw and SmackDown. I mean, we'll have to see, but something to think about. Something to think about. Anyway, I also wanted to talk a little bit about Konosuke Takeshita. So he had his last stop in the UK before returning back to Japan. He was here in the States on excursion. Had quite a successful excursion. He was very busy here. I mean, AEW, DPW, like many different promotions. Like he was busy. He was a busy man. And then word is that Takeshita is interested in continuing to work with AEW and continuing to work in the US to the point where he's even talking about hopefully being able to return to the US in October. Now, if you ask me, I think sooner or later we might see Konosuke Takeshita become all elite and have a similar sort of contract situation like Yuka Sakazaki. Because remember, Yuka is also officially part of the AEW roster. She's on the website, and she's wrestling in AEW as well as Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. John Elite says, didn't WWE have interest in Takeshita as well? That is what I've heard. But I guess Takeshita wasn't interested. But that's what I've heard, that they took an interest in him. Because, I mean, Takeshita, he's a big dude. He's a big, buff dude, you know? As a matter of fact, I think he's like 6 feet tall. Hold on. Oh, he's 6'2". Yeah, 6'2", 231. Yeah, because I realized standing next to him, yeah, I figured he was 6 feet tall. But yeah, he's 6'2". Ooh, he's a Gemini just like me. Birthday May 29th. Oh, he's a Gemini. Let's go. Only 27 years old. Still young. Still definitely a young guy. So, but yeah, I think we might see him get the Yuka Sakazaki treatment, which shout out to Yuka Sakazaki, who won the Tokyo Princess Cup. That's right. Came down to Yuka Sakazaki and Miyu Watanabe in the finals. Miyu Watanabe had the upset win over Miyu Yamashita. And then Yuka Sakazaki dethroned Suzume, even though it was a really, really close match. I mean, both matches were awesome. Both matches were awesome. And then in the finals, Yuka Sakazaki although Miyu Watanabe gave it such a great effort, Yuka won, and Yuka Sakazaki is your 2022 Tokyo Princess Cup winner. So the crazy thing about that is I believe that's going to set up her to challenge Shoko Nakajima for the Princess of Princess Championship, which is very interesting because when Yuka Sakazaki was last Princess of Princess champion, she won it by defeating Shoko Nakajima. So looks like she's going to be getting a rematch. But yeah, so I think sooner or later, Takeshita's going to be all elite. And I think he will be, who knows? He might become a champion in AEW. I mean, if they can do that with Riho, which at the time, remember, Riho was a double champion at the time, working between AEW and Stardom. Because remember, she was also high speed champion. Now, I know that she didn't get to defend it due to the pandemic, but still, she stayed busy. And she was a champion in AEW. She was the first ever women's champion. Also, congratulations to Hikaru Shida, who just recently became, I think it was Wave Pro Wrestling champion. No, Wave single champion. She became the Wave single champion by defeating, apparently she dethroned Suzu Suzuki. Yeah, she dethroned Suzu Suzuki to win that title. And this is actually her second Wave single championship run. So yeah, congratulations to Hikaru Shida. So hey, Hikaru Shida been staying very busy between Japan and the United States. I mean, in Japan, she's been doing the Makai project. She's been doing Ice Ribbon. She's been doing Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. She just recently did Pro Wrestling Wave. And yeah, she's been doing AEW as well. So Shida's been staying pretty busy. I think it's only a matter of time before we see her maybe appear in Stardom or hopefully appear in DPW. I would love to see Shida appear in DPW. That would rock. Oh man, tickets would sell out like crazy for that. I kid you not. But definitely like a lot what's been going on there. And like I said, we got the trios tournament, AEW trios tournament starting tomorrow. So definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, this week is pretty jam-packed with pro wrestling content. They're going to be finishing up the G1 Climax 32, I believe, on Friday. Wait, when's the finals? The finals is the 18th. No, that's Thursday. Okay, so they're finishing that up on Thursday. So that means Wednesday. Tomorrow is the semifinals. So they're doing the semifinals tomorrow for the G1 Climax 32, which I will let y'all know right now that actually, you know what? Let's go over it. Let's actually go over it. Here, let's actually go over it. Since we now know who our semifinalists are, let's actually go over the standings that led to the semifinals. So all of the league matches have finished. All of the matches have finished. So let's go over each block. So the final standings of Block A. Toru Yano finished with only 2 points. So Yano only had one victory. He beat Jonah and lost to Okada, Jeff Cobb, Lance Archer, Bad Luck Fale, and Filthy Tom Lawler. Bad Luck Fale finished with 4 points. He had 2 victories over Lance Archer and Toru Yano, but lost to Okada, Jeff Cobb, Tom Lawler, and Jonah. We had a 3-way tie for 6 points. Lance Archer, Tom Lawler, Jeff Cobb. See, Jeff Cobb, he had 3 victories over Toru Yano, Lance Archer, and Bad Luck Fale, but lost to Okada, Lawler, and Jonah. Tom Lawler also won 3 matches against Toru Yano, Jeff Cobb, Bad Luck Fale, but he lost to Jonah, Lance Archer, and Okada. And then you had Lance Archer, who won 3 matches, beat Jonah, beat Tom Lawler, and beat Toru Yano, but lost to Bad Luck Fale, Jeff Cobb, and Okada. And then finishing with 8 points, came close, but finished with 8 points was Jonah. Jonah won 4 matches. He beat Tom Lawler, Bad Luck Fale, Jeff Cobb, and Okada. Gave Okada his one loss. But Jonah lost to Toru Yano and Lance Archer. Man, if only he would have beaten Toru Yano, then he would have had the tiebreaker over Okada. That's the crazy thing. If only he would have beaten Toru Yano or Lance Archer. But I say Toru Yano because I felt like he had a good chance of beating Toru Yano. If he would have won that match, he probably would have won. He would have won the tiebreaker over Okada because he beat Okada. And then sitting at the top and the winner of the A block is Kazuchika Okada. He won 5 matches, lost once. So he beat Toru Yano, Jeff Cobb, Lance Archer, Bad Luck Fale, and Filthy Tom Lawler, but he lost to Jonah. So with that, Okada advances to the semifinals. Okay, let's look at the B block. The B block had a very exciting finish. B block. So sitting a 4-way tie with 4 points were Tomohiro Ishii, Chase Owens, the Great Okan, and Taichi. So Ishii finished only with 2 victories over Sonata and Tamatanga, but lost to Jay White, Taichi, Great Okan, and Chase Owens. There was even rumors that this might be Tomohiro Ishii's last G1 climax. We'll see, but I've heard rumors that this might be his last. Let's see. Chase Owens. Chase Owens got 2 victories over Tomohiro Ishii and the Great Okan, but lost to Sonata, Tamatanga, Taichi, and Jay White. Great Okan, he got 2 victories over Taichi and Tomohiro Ishii, but lost to Jay White, Tamatanga, Sonata, and Chase Owens. And then Taichi had 2 victories over Ishii and Chase Owens, but lost to Jay White, Tamatanga, Sonata, and the Great Okan. Okay. And then sitting alone with 6 points was Sonata. Sonata got 3 victories over Taichi, the Great Okan, and Chase Owens, but lost to Jay White, Tamatanga, and Tomohiro Ishii. And then sitting tied with 10 points are Jay White and Tamatanga. So with Jay White won 5 matches against Taichi, Tomohiro Ishii, Sonata, Great Okan, and Chase Owens, but he lost to Tama Tonga. And that was very key because Tama Tonga, who also won 5 matches, he beat Jay White, Taichi, Sonata, Great Khan, and Chase Owens. He did lose to Tomohiro Ishii. But because he beat Jay White, he wins the B block. And I tell you, that was quite an upset as well. Couple of gun stun attempts, but was able to hit that gun stun eventually and pin the IWGP Heavyweight Champion and knocked Switchblade Jay White out of the G1. And he was pretty pissed, too. He gave Tama Tonga his credit, but he was pretty heated. Pretty heated. So, we know that one semifinal round will be Kazuchika Okada versus Tama Tonga. And to be honest with you, I would not mind if Tama Tonga beat Okada. Probably won't happen, but he did beat Jay White, so it's not impossible. It's not impossible. But I would think if Tama Tonga upsets Okada, then I think he's going to end up winning the G1. I think he's going to end up winning the G1. If he beats Okada, he's winning the G1. Okay, let's look at the C block. We had another interesting finish as well. So sitting at the bottom with a measly 2 points was Aaron Hanare, which he got one victory, which was a big one. He beat Hiroshi Tanahashi, but he lost to Tetsuya Naito, Evil, Hiroki Goto, Zack Sabre Jr., and Kenta. So if anything, he got a big upset victory in the G1, but that's about it. And then we had a 4-way tie with 6 points. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Kenta, and Evil. So the ace finished with 3 victories, 3-3. So he beat Naito, Evil, and Zack Sabre Jr., but lost to Hiroki Goto, Kenta, and Aaron Hanare. Let's see. Hiroki Goto, which I had high hopes for because he started out on a roll. But Hiroki Goto also finished 3-3. Victories over Tanahashi, Naito, and Aaron Hanare, but lost to Evil, Zack Sabre Jr., and Kenta. So, I was really hopeful for him, but Kenta also had 3 victories over Tanahashi, Goto, and Hanare, but lost to Naito, Evil, and Zack Sabre Jr. And then Evil had 3 victories over Goto, Kenta, and Hanare, but lost to Tanahashi, Naito, and Zack Sabre Jr., which he lost to Zack Sabre Jr. in 44 seconds. Yeah, he lost to ZSJ like that. And then tied at the top with 8 points were Zack Sabre Jr. and Tetsuya Naito. Zack Sabre Jr., ZSJ, had 4 victories, beat Evil, Goto, Kenta, and Hanare, but lost to Naito and Hiroshi Tanahashi. And the crazy thing is he lost to Naito in under 2 minutes. And speaking of which, Naito, who had 8 points, ends up winning the C block. 4 victories over Evil, ZSJ, Kenta, and Hanare, but lost to Tanahashi and Goto, but still, he ends up winning the C block after beating Zack Sabre Jr. And Zack Sabre Jr., let me tell you what, he pitched a fit. I mean, he was throwing chairs around and destroying tables and throwing ring bells and throwing tables and chairs backstage and table flipping here and table flipping there. Zack Sabre Jr., he had a big old tantrum. I mean, he went to F-bomb city. Like, I think he cusses just as much as Maki Ito. I think Maki Ito and Zack Sabre Jr. should be a couple because they cuss a lot. I'm just saying, they cuss a lot. Oh man. It's like male and female versions of each other. They cuss a lot. But Naito wins the C block. And then you had the D block. Sitting at the bottom with 4 points, Juice Robinson. Rock hard. Juice Robinson had 2 victories over Shingo Takagi and El Phantasmo, but lost to Will Ospreay, Yoshihashi, Yujiro Takahashi, and David Finlay. And then you had a 5-way tie at 6 points. David Finlay, Yoshihashi, Yujiro Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, and El Phantasmo. Ooh, this one was all over the place. David Finlay, who looked really strong, but had some key losses there. But he finished 3-3 with victories over Will Ospreay and Shingo Takagi and Juice Robinson. But he lost to Yoshihashi, El Phantasmo, and Yujiro Takahashi. Let's see. Yoshihashi, who actually had a strong showing in this tournament. Yoshihashi finished 3-3. Victories over Juice Robinson, El Phantasmo, and David Finlay, but lost to Yujiro Takahashi, Will Ospreay, and Shingo Takagi. He really came close to having 4 victories because he almost beat Yujiro. I was hoping he would beat Yujiro. But Yoshihashi, I got to give him credit. He had a good showing at this year's G1. John Elite says, Yoshihashi beating Finlay surprised me. Yeah, some may say that was an upset. I felt like it could have gone either way, but I can understand because Finlay was kind of on a roll. He was on a roll. And honestly, I mean, I thought Finlay had a great chance of winning, especially after he beat both Shingo and Will Ospreay. I was thinking Finlay might be a favorite to win the D block and beat former tag team partner Juice Robinson as well. I honestly thought David Finlay was going to upset and win the D block personally. I mean, those are 3 big victories. So it is what it is, I guess. Yujiro had a surprising run in the G1. 3-3. He had victories over David Finlay, Yoshihashi, and Juice Robinson, but lost to Will Ospreay, Shingo Takagi, and El Phantasmo. But he also had a very surprising run. Shingo Takagi finished 3-3. Victories over Will Ospreay, Yoshihashi, and Yujiro Takahashi, but lost to Juice Robinson, El Phantasmo, and David Finlay. And El Phantasmo finished 3-3 with victories over Shingo Takagi, Yujiro Takahashi, and David Finlay, but lost to Will Ospreay, Juice Robinson, and Yoshihashi. Man, it was crazy. I didn't think he would even get that many wins, but And then sitting at the top with 8 points and your D block winner, Will Ospreay. So Will Ospreay finished 4-2 with victories over Juice Robinson, Yoshihashi, El Phantasmo, and Yujiro Takahashi, but lost to Shingo Takagi, and David Finlay. But he is your D block winner, which means the other semifinal matchup will be Tetsuya Naito versus Will Ospreay. And honestly, that one could go either way. But yeah, those are your two semifinal matchups. Okada, Tama Tonga, Will Ospreay, Tetsuya Naito. Personally, I would love to see Tama Tonga pull off the big upset and win the G1. I think that would be huge for Tama Tonga to win the G1. I think that would be huge. Because Okada and Naito winning it wouldn't really be that much of a surprise. But Will Ospreay, yeah, I could see him winning it too. I could see Will Ospreay winning it too. Which, at the same time, Will Ospreay's never won a G1. He's won 2 Best of Super Juniors, but he's never won the G1. So, hey, Will Ospreay winning the G1, that could happen. So, either Tama Tonga or Will Ospreay, I think, would be good choices to win the G1 because neither have won a G1. So, hey, I think that would be good. Because you got to remember, Naito has won the G1 twice, and Okada, I think, has won it. Has won it 3 times. Yeah, he's won it 3 times. So, yeah, I think it'd be cool if Tama Tonga or Will Ospreay won the G1 this year. It'll be their first time. But yeah. So G1 Climax is coming to an end in 2 days. Should be good. And then we also got Stardom X Stardom 2022 pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, as well as more 5-star Grand Prix matches, which I'll do a preview. I'll do a preview of that on Friday. But got a lot coming up. We got GCW Sanctified on this Friday. I think it's called Sanctified. Let me be at that show. It'll be in Concord, North Carolina at the Cabarrus Arena, arena that I've been to dozens and dozens of times. Of course, we got G1 Finals coming up. We have Stardom pay-per-view. So quite a lot to look forward to. The last thing I wanted to talk about right quick. So apparently there's been word that WWE has been reaching out and in contact with a current AEW star, potentially talking about returning to the WWE. Now, I have no idea what the word is on who it is, but I'm hearing rumors that it's maybe Miro or Andrade or maybe even Keith Lee. But I don't know how I feel about that, because isn't that contract tampering? I mean, I hope that's not the case, but that's what the word is. Word is that they are reaching out, WWE reaching out to a current AEW wrestler about talks of returning. So I don't know how accurate or true that is, but I heard a rumor that that's what's been going on and could possibly be contract tampering. if I were to narrow it down, I think it would be either Miro or Andrade. I think the word is personally frustrated from those two with AEW, which I could be wrong, but that's who I possibly think it could be. But we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, we'll have to see what if more of that story develops. But I would say that, with WWE, more and more, we're going to see some talent definitely return or get shifted around in some form of fashion. So it's only a matter of time. But we'll just have to see what happens. Like I said, tomorrow night, I'm thinking tomorrow night, we're going to see Kenny Omega return and be the Young Bucks partner, because I really can't think of anybody else who could do it, especially after Hangman Adam Page already declined. So guess we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. But anyway, that's all I have for tonight's video. Like I said, I'll do a preview of the upcoming Stardom pay-per-view this Friday and talk AEW as well, and give the current results of the G1 Climax, or at least the final results, and also the current results of the 5-star Grand Prix. So there'll be a good bit to talk about this Friday. But yeah, should be good. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell while you're at it. And thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram signing off for another Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a blessed day tomorrow. Peace out.